Alright, took a little bit for this video to start recording, so that's why I did that. But we're going to talk about Waka Flocka Flame and Flockaveli 1.5. Now, really, Waka's been around. He's done a very above average, high calibrated mixtape run. That's really all he's been doing lately. And, originally this month I had plans to do a couple of his joint mixtapes. Like he had one with Slim Duncan, which I've listened to, and I do recommend you take a look at that. And he also had a mixtape with French Montana, and there was another one that he did, and I was going to bring you mixtape slots, but needless to say, I was pretty hyped for Flockaveli 1.5 based on the fact that I enjoyed Flockaveli so much. Really, it does take from the attitude of Machiavelli, and I do feel like, this sort of album is basically for the representation of what it is, really covers a lot of it. This is something that, if you think of smart rap, you think of certain people, this is kind of like the go-to album for being a little bit more pedestrian, which I do feel like is really good. Just, the normal stuff that goes on in the street, really, this is an album for that. It's a whole lifestyle attached to it. Wherever you eat, wherever you're going to sleep, whatever you're doing in the meantime, you play sports, you watch TV, this is an album that just has that entirely. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I do know that Flockaveli pretty much is one of our cult albums of this decade. Like when you think of the Marshall Mathers LP, you don't really mention albums like, trying to think of one, like the Carter 1 is not really considered a classic. But, in some circles, it's also seen where Lil Wayne really started to boost up his career. And I do feel like Flockaveli deserves that same privilege. I know it went at least gold, and it's still kind of circulating, but of course, 5 years has not been kind, considering that Waka only has like 3 albums under his belt. So what that means is it's time to get back to the Flockaveli scene. This one of the beginning points of what he's done. And I do feel like it does not sully the name Flockaveli. This is really good. It's definitely something you need to pay attention to. And we're going to talk more about some of the effects of this album. So first off, can you smoke to this? I think the answer is yes, you can. Some of the songs, Birthday, I would probably say No Lie if you can stomach them repeatedly saying No Lie. Blood Brother, Hit a Lick, Money, Blue or Red. These are all some swift ones to go for as far as that's concerned. The production is handled really well. As far as records that sound like Harden the Paint, there's a couple records that are just like that, and I feel like Birthday and Feel About Me are a few of those. But there's also some newer stuff. The auto-tune's been really popular, and just that whole singing, but more singing than rapping type style, well, that's on Lose My Mind, and I think there might have been one other song that kind of did that, and you just get a bunch of stuff. My favorite beat on this album is Blue or Red. I mean, that was far and away one of the best songs on here, and it just is syrup. It's real. It's like you're being diagnosed with becoming sick by how contagious that beat is. And it stands like this sort of thing. It's kind of like when you turn to a certain person for R&B records. It's the same type thing with Waka. Just when you turn to like those house party records where the music's blasting and you're probably on the couch, just sitting next to some female or something. Those are like the type records that you're going to have. Usually these type house party type things, it's more so oriented towards that than the club, even though this could basically be played there as well. But a few more beats, I'd say, like I said, Birthday, AM to PM, Hit a Lick. These are all some great ones. So the unheard songs. This really does feel like Flockaveli 1.5, and I do feel like in a lot of ways it also continues that shift, because some of those records were a little bit more gnarled up and they felt more like real sweaty testosterone energy, whereas this feels more kind of at a leaner, more kind of worried about style type feel. So it doesn't have like the reckless shirt off records. It does have them, but just not nearly as many. So there's 14 songs on here. There would be 15, but apparently there's an iTunes song. So one of these songs is for sale, and I wasn't able to listen to that. But, you might as well, if you like this whole project, just get that song too. This is going to get a high score. So Birthday and Feel About Me are the two real raw records, like Hard in the Paint, Blue or Red. There were only 4 songs I didn't like on here, and those were Shootin', Rap Game Fucked Up, No Lie, and How It Feel. So Blue or Red, best beat on here. I mean, Waka nails it on that one. Couple similar ones are Blood Brother and Hit a Lick. I mean, the production just feels kind of, like I said, it's something that you would hear out of the South more so than an actual street or West Coast type record. So it really feels like you're in the cut on this type album. You're just kind of chilling, house party type stuff, just keeping to yourself, low key. And so a few more. Trappin' and Rappin' was kind of a beat that stuck out, and I wasn't really expecting that from Waka. AM to PM was another one of my favorites, but I'm just still getting used to that one. Money was pretty good. Basically, just all of these records are good to go. I think even Shorthanded, I don't remember that one, but these are just some great ones. So you do need to check out all these records, though. It very well is sturdy. So I'm gonna give this album, well, it's getting a 10. If it didn't get a 10, it would get a 9.5. 11 out of 15. I guess it would actually be 10 out of 15 because I didn't hear that iTunes song. But if I don't like that song, it's a 9.5. But considering maybe a 9. But if I do, it's a 10. So the future, I mean, this just came out like 3 days ago, is this album Social. Now, that a lot of people are going to say that they're looking for like the No Hands song, which there really is not a song as vibrant as No Hands. That kind of tries your patience when you hear that, just because that's one of his few charting songs, and it appears like he sucks because he doesn't have a song like that. But I really don't recall hearing Roscoe Dash past 2011 either. So it's not really Waka that's to blame for that. It just is that he chose to be underground and make street music. If Tupac were to not do like these radio songs, this is probably what you would have. Just he's a little bit more gritty and gets his hands dirty. So as far as the Social goes, I will give it a 7.5, but you still need to check this out. Can it be topped? Probably not. I mean, this is good for like the next several months. I don't think that too many people are going to complain about it, but there's always going to be hate. So yeah, check this out. It gets a 10 and a 7.5 Social.